what are a lot of brokerages out here missing from a technology standpoint, in your opinion?
Majority of the brokerages utilize the basic tools. So you have your CRMs
Right.
and so forth, so on. However, they're still also very spreadsheet heavy. So they haven't fully gone down the route for the CRMs for all of their departments. There's only a few, and it's the big few, including the one that I was with for a year,
Right.
that fully adopted technology and wanted to integrate it into everything that they do.
Yeah.
There's probably like a dozen of them out there. And one big thing that majority of the real estate companies didn't realize is the power in their data. And it wasn't until I started building these B2B data platforms and then started to work for the biggest real estate brokerage here in Dubai to showcase the data that they have available that's super powerful for the consumers and just to give the information out there, in addition to the government data that's available.
Right.
So I would say that that's the biggest gap as far as how the real estate agents use technology. For them, it's about selling properties and how quick they can turn over a buyer and a seller and the properties. CRM is just something that's in the way, and it's usually very cumbersome for the average agent to maneuver through. So it's not something that they like and enjoy and want to use.
Yeah.
It's only, and to be honest with you, it's the agents that do very, very well that know how to use the CRM systems and activate the various different components and be able to benefit from them. But because they're so busy, it just kind of, goes past them. As long as they have their phone and their WhatsApp, they're good to go.
Right.
And it took a very long time for agencies to really adopt technology here.
Right.
And like I said, there's only a very few that have pioneered it. Even when it came to the open data, the first B2B data platform that I built was in 2015, which was Property Monitor. Agents didn't get it. There was a handful that got it, but majority didn't get it. It was too confusing. It was too complicated. It was just an extra step that they didn't understand the value in. And it really wasn't until COVID, when I was at Property Finder, that they really started to embrace the data and understand the power of the data. We were doing these webinars during COVID when everyone was at home, and we were predicting what was going to happen in the market through Property Finder search and demand data. So we were able to tell the agents, and I will never forget it because it was a pivotal point in how data was going to be used or how it was going to change in the agent's perspective. And it was March, April. So it was probably April, May. Within 2 weeks, we saw a 300% surge in searches for villa townhouse. Normally it was for apartments, but that's when everyone was transitioning to the suburbs and they wanted the space and they wanted the villa townhouses.
Right.
So we were telling everyone, hey, there's something in the data, 300% surge increase in searches for this type of a property. And of course, the ones who got it, ran with it, have always done very well. But then it was the other agents who really didn't adopt data that said, there's something to be had here. And now it's widely used, these data platforms.
Do you think that every brokerage needs a chief data officer?
Yes. Or chief technology officer of some kind. Absolutely.
100%.
Because there's so much that can be done with technology within a brokerage that gives them that advantage, that step ahead of all the other brokerages. Absolutely.
Right. In fact, I actually put it up on my story. I had someone else come on the podcast and I called them the data queen and I got like totally destroyed. And I was like, wait, what? Who's the data queen? And then it's like, it's not.
It's me.
Yeah, there we go. So tell me about that, right?
Oh, wow. Okay. So 13, I did the Mayor Daley City of Chicago internship during the summer break, summer school holidays at the Department of Education in the technology department. So like I said earlier, I had two passions since I can remember: real estate and technology. And it all happened around the age of 7. So it's interesting how you said the age of 7. So with real estate, it was the CEO and running my mom's apartment building at that time, which I did because my mom, her English wasn't very good. So I was handling the tenants. It was like my own little Monopoly game. I loved it.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, I took a programming class at my school, and it was a basic programming class. And we had Commodore 64s, and they had to like tear me away from the desk because I just wanted to sit there and program. So when I was 13, And I came from the south side of Chicago. It was only my mother. My father had passed away. So, and my mom, she has like a second grade education. So she was working 3 jobs. So we didn't have means, right? So I had to work. And I was 13. When I saw the opportunity to work in the technology department, I just absorbed it. And I remember they had these little Macs with the floppy disks, and they were doing design. Loved every part of it. And that's when I knew that I wanted to get into technology, business and technology. So went through uni, did all that, came here, was in technology, came here, focused on prop tech. Then when I arrived, I saw that there was a huge, real estate data did not exist.
Right.
And I realized this when I was trying to rent an apartment, my first apartment here in Dubai. So I'm like fresh off the plane, trying to understand how Dubai works.
Yeah.
And I was standing in this apartment, and this is a time where supply was very low and demand was very high. And the lady walks in, and she's like, 251 check, first person to write it gets it. I was like, I don't understand, but I had a conversation with her, and I said, can you tell me about the comparable data in this building? What does an apartment like this go for? No idea what I was talking about. And it was very frustrating. Obviously, I'm brand new into Dubai from the US. I was going through a lot of learning curves.
Yep.
And then that's when I decided to work with the Dubai government, because they are the source of truth for the data. And I knew this because of coming from the US.
Yep.
So I started working, or trying to work, with the Dubai Land Department. It took quite a few years. We started with reports. It was a joint collaboration with JLL.
Yep.
And then eventually got them comfortable with me and gained their trust. And that's where they started allowing us to use the data.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So that was like the origin story of that piece. So endless just meetings on committees and committees. I think that's like the formula to, break into the DLT kind of